Now to news out of Pennsylvania's state capital. Lawmakers, well, they finalized the state budget in early July with historic investments for education, health care, and a lot of other things.
Now, roughly 2 months later, House Democrats are looking to make additional investments for Pennsylvania workers. Erie News Now state capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon joins us live to break down what House Democrats hope to accomplish. Good evening, Brendan.
Good evening, Mike and Eva. That's exactly right. Even with this year's $45.2 billion budget, Pennsylvania still has a bountiful surplus and rainy day fund. At a larger rally this morning, House Democrats say it's time to use some of that money to help the working class.
And Pennsylvanians don't need the money to just sit there, but they need us as a legislature to invest those dollars in everyday working Pennsylvanians.
House Democratic Whip Jordan Harris says even though both parties are celebrating the historic budget, there was still a lot left on the table.
There's still so much work left undone.
Particularly investments for workers like family leave, child care, higher minimum wage, and protections for those in the public sector.
Public sector workers aren't covered by OSHA protections.
Unlike the private sector, public sector employees are not protected under the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Act. House Bill 1976, sponsored by Representative Pat Harkins, seeks to change that.
There's no reason that the public sector should not be afforded the same opportunities.
Legislation targeting worker misclassification is another top priority Democrats discussed this morning.
Right now there's worker misclassification, meaning there's people working 60 hours a week being paid as a part-time employee with no benefits. We need to fix that. We can do that legislatively.
With the conclusion of the legislative session quickly approaching, Democrats are urging Republican leadership to take action.
That with 7 legislative session days, there is still time to ensure that we support our workers.
But House Republican Caucus spokesman Jason Gottesman says things like wages and benefits should be left to the market, not to the government.
They have a ability to seek a higher starting wage than has ever been done before, and all of that has occurred naturally through the market. This is really about getting government out of the way to help create jobs.
And Representative Harkins' legislation is also known as the Jake Schwab Worker Safety Bill. It was introduced after Erie resident Jake Schwab was fatally injured back in 2014 working for a public sector employee that was and still is exempt from those OSHA regulations. Reporting live at the state capitol in Harrisburg, Brendan Scanlon, Erie News Now.